Lawwin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community, from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawwin Media Network.
Tune into Legal Treats with attorney Eileen Ligote Dizon
Every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Get your weekly dose of legal knowledge, especially on family matters like divorce, child custody, child support, estate planning, probate and immigration.
Engage in discussions by posting your questions, comments, readings, or shoutouts.
See you every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. That would be Saturday at 9 a.m. Philippines. Don't miss out.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning, Philippines. Good evening, Texas. Welcome back to our show, our 11th episode for Beyond Health and Wellness, our empowering conversations with Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ. Nurse MJ is not here with me today, but we will continue to run through the discussions that we left off from last time. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, and they are exciting things that we are going to talk about. And I'm sure you will enjoy learning with us together. So we appreciate our audience from the Philippines, back in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And I even heard we have followers in the UAE and in Dubai particularly. So it's great to have you here, and we hope that you enjoy our show. This is our 11th episode today. Last week, we had a conversation about the idea of visualization taken off from mindfulness and how it affects our health, our wellness, and how it makes us get out the best from among us. So we'll talk about that today. And if you have some text messages, you can also send your text messages, your questions, your experiences to share, your personal experiences that you would like to share. Please let us know. We'd like to acknowledge you and would like to talk with you about that journey with you as well. We are live today with Lawin.net and also YouTube and also Twix. So please be with us and journey on with this conversation. We will talk today the the relationship between mindfulness, which we talked last time, and then visualization, how you can visualize what you want to see happen or achieve in life, and from visualization into the mind, so that we can talk about how our mind works, because it's very important for us. So again, this is Beyond Health and Wellness, empowering conversations with Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ. Nurse MJ is not with me today, but and this is Dr. Rich, your host for today. So let's talk about Genevieve Behrend, the invisible, your invisible power. That was the book we talked about yesterday, not last Friday. And what that one was that she was talking about her experience with the only professor and instructor in mental science at the time, and that was Thomas Troward. And Thomas Troward wasn't accepting individual or personal student. So how she got into being the only student of Dr. Thomas Troward is what she shared in her book because of the use of visualization. And I showed you how it worked for her before, and many people can attest to that about how it worked for a lot of them. And probably you also viewing us today, you also have those experiences that you think about it and then all of a sudden it happens. For me, when I started to realize that, I was we're back. Sorry about the glitch. So we'll continue. For me, when I realized the secret of visualization, I sat one day in my table and I happened to need a colored printer. At the time, I wanted to have a laser colored printer. And I thought, I want it free. And then I visualized it clearly in my mind. And a few minutes after, I didn't realize somebody came in the door, opened the door. I opened the door, and here it is. It says, "Do you want this color?" And I took that color printer and said, "This is amazing." I just thought about it. And Jennifer Barrett also talked about people that went to her lecture and they were thinking about picturing a $500 bill, and it came to them. The other one is $5 bill, and it came to him. It's not in $5 bill; it's $1 bill. So there were five $1. So it was amazing experience for all of them. And then one time, my mentor told me, "You go ahead and try this. Try in your mind to picture out that you are climbing a ladder." So when you picture that you are climbing a ladder, you want to feel how your left foot step into the ladder and then the right and left, and how your hand hold on to the ladder until you reach the top, and then go back down and climb back up. Do this 3 times a day. And when you do that 3 times a day, you will you will you will climb a ladder. But do this also every morning. You write, "I will not climb a ladder." Write that 10 times in a paper. So I did that. I write, "I will not climb a ladder. I will not climb it," 10 times every day for 3 days, in the morning and in the evening. But when I go to sleep, imagine I am climbing a ladder. And in the morning also, I imagine that I still climb a ladder. I did that for 3 days and nothing happened. After 2 weeks, I had this call from my phone telling me that our house had the ceiling leaking. So I was a member of the family and arrived. It was indeed leaking. There's no rain, but it was leaking. So it was from the drain somewhere from the air conditioning system. And I called this plumber thing, and they told me, "Do you have a ladder?" I said, "I probably have." And I went outside and I saw a ladder. It's an old ladder. I said, "I have an old ladder. Get that old ladder, put that on, and climb into your ceiling until you reach the ceiling and poke the ceiling so that the dripping of the fluid will just be one place. And I went up into the ladder and I poked the ceiling, and the dripping dripped only on one place. And then I climbed down, and then I realized, oh my God, I just climbed a ladder because I imagined that for 3 days. So there's lots of things that we can talk about that. And I was going to show you this one that you are seeing in the screen. It says here that this is what we call as the, for lack of a better illustration, this is what we call as the stick person. The stick person is a illustration of how the mind works. So this is you, okay? This is me, this is you, this is everyone, every single one of us. The educated mind, we have the educated mind, we think, and then that is also called the conscious mind. That is you. But you also have the doer, the the thinker and the doer. So below that you have the subconscious mind. So there is conscious mind and subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind has a special function, and it it is an innate mind, which is your power. That's considered to be your power. And what it does is that when the information that you think about or learn about goes into your mind, then it expresses into the body, and therefore you get it expresses. Because Genevieve Barron refers to it is that our mind is a center of divine operation, and this divine operation is always for expansion and and for fuller expression. And this means the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new, not included in the past experience, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. So your past experiences is part of it, but it is not proceeding from out of it. It's entirely new because our mind is the express arm. It expresses in physical reality what we thought of. So that's what it is. It's very important because remember, we're talking about mindfulness. What we eat is what we do, is what we are. It comes to us, the kind of food that we eat, and the kind of exercise, the kind of activity. Now, the kind of thought we have is also expressed. So, what we think, we talk about how James Allen says that what we think, we are what we think. And that was also Marcus Aurelius. We become what we think about. So now here is how it happens. You have the conscious mind, you think about things, and then the, the things that you think, once it gets absorbed into the subconscious mind, then it expresses the results. Now, how does that work? The way it works is like this: your conscious mind, your thought, your thinking mind, your educated mind, that's what we are, is a, what do you call this? A electronic switching station of your five senses. Now, five senses is like your instinct, right? What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch. That is the five senses. Information comes through that, and then it goes to the conscious mind, and then you decide, are you going to accept it or not? The conscious mind is the one that will accept it or reject it. So if you hear something and you accept it as truth and you put feelings into it, then it goes into the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind doesn't have to reject or accept. It just is. What is put in it, it brings it to expression. It is your conscious mind that blocks it. What we do is, especially when we were kids, what we do is we don't necessarily block what information we get. What we touch, it goes in. What we taste, it goes in. What smell. Those are the five senses that needs to be guarded. But the other part of that I was going to share with you also Now, remember, if you have some questions, if you have some comments or personal experience, write it on the text, and we are going to recognize that and talk about that also. But here's the thing: when we talk about the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, those are the five senses. But there are six more higher mental faculties that are related to this, that are more potent when we use them. We will talk about that after the break.
Welcome to Season 4 of Be Bold. Why not? Get ready to make bold changes in your life with MJ Concepcion. Dive deeper into the discussions. Listen to the unstoppable voices of MJ and her guests, the legends and the rising stars. Join the celebration of talent, sports, passion, and the power of music. Tune in every Monday 7 p.m. Central, Tuesday, 8 a.m. Philippines. See you there.
In a world filled with fleeting moments, there's beauty waiting to be captured. My name is Christian, and I specialize in immortalizing your most precious memories. From elegant weddings to vibrant events and timeless portraits, I'm here to make every moment unforgettable. Let me tell your story through the lens. Contact me today and let's create.
All right, we're back. We're back. This is Beyond Health and Wellness podcast, empowering conversations with Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ. We are talking about our five senses here that gets the information or the stimulus into our conscious mind so that we can think about it, or we can entertain that thought, and whether we accept that thought or not happens in the conscious mind, in the consciousness level. That's why we ask people, how conscious are you? Conscious? Do you know? Are you aware? Those are the information that are there. It's not gone down. It's just there. When you accept it, it gets into the subconscious mind. We will talk about how it gets into the subconscious mind and how the subconscious mind processes it. But let's talk about the other six more higher mental faculties here. So we know that we have see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Those are our five senses. But there are higher mental faculties that we talk about, and one of that is perception. So when we perceive, that is your perception, that is a higher mental faculty that we also need to exercise. The other one is your will. We have a will, what you want to do. And then the other one is imagination. This is where Neville Goddard came in to teach us about imagination, and Genevieve Barron also shared that information to us. And then the other one is memory, what we remember. Memory, things that we see, hear, smell, taste, or touch, we remember them. So the higher faculty of that is remembering it, which is our memory. The other one is reason. And then the last one, of course, which is very important, is intuition. Intuitions, I would say, but let's just not put some kind of a ladder on that. Perception, will, imagination, memory, reason, and intuition. These are our six higher mental faculties that we're talking about, which is engaged also in the consciousness of the mind. What it is that we perceive, what it is that we will or not will to do, what it is that we imagine, what it is that we remember or recall, what it is that we argue or reason about, and the last one is intuition. Intuition is the unction of God within. It is the guidance. It's probably 99.99% correct. If you follow your intuition, you will never get wrong. You will always make it right. The problem is not whether you want to follow or not. You want to follow, but you just didn't hear it. So that's where the intuition is difficult. It comes with silence, so you can hear it. When you're too busy, when you're too occupied, and you're too stressed, the intuition is still there, but you can't hear it. It's a still small voice. That's intuition. But when you follow it, it is the God in you. You are definitely going to be 100%, probably 99.99%. But that's what it is. It's very difficult for a lot of people to follow that intuition. So we will talk about all of this. Now, so we have this perception, will, imagination, memory, reason, and intuition. How does that connect to the subconscious mind in making sure that we get what we want, right? We were talking earlier about how do we avoid sugar, or how do we make sure that we get the right nutrients from the food that we do, so that we eat, so that our body will function the way it should. And and then how do we eat mindfully? So those are the things that challenges us, because whether we like it or not, our subconscious mind is the one that delivers result, and it delivers result through our body. Our body expresses the result, and that's what happened there. Now, in our next slide, we can see that that's what it is. The thoughts, and then it goes with feelings. When we put the moment we put feelings into a thought, it's the time that it sinks into the subconscious mind. So, really, feeling is the secret. Thought has had gone through the immersion of feeling, then there is no more point of return. The subconscious mind is bound to give it time. Did you see that? When you put feeling into the thought, let's say, for example, I want a house, that's a thought. But when you feel it right now, that you are here right now feeling that house, you can feel the stairs, you can feel the doors, you can feel the windows, the faucet, the kitchen. You can feel it, but you feel it sinks into the subconscious mind and it manifests. There is no barrier to it anymore. It will express it. Your body will attract every single need that it needs in order for that to manifest. That's why we say it's manifestation. We're manifesting it. So it's very important for us to understand how we get results. We don't get the results from the outside. We get the results from the inside. It's inside out. The things that we see from the outside are the result of what's going on inside. And the way it goes out is when it sinks into the subconscious mind, and how it sinks into the subconscious mind. Feel it. I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel better. I feel rich. I feel wealthy. You feel it. What is it? What does it feel to have $1 million? You have that. What does it feel to have a new car? What does it feel to you always live that at the moment, and when you do that consistently, it comes out. There is no barrier anymore. It comes out. Your body will be guided with intuition to where it goes, to which people does it see, what circumstances or opportunities is open. It goes in there, and voila, you have it. You have the results. So that's how it works. Let you to get one more slide that I want to share here, because what really is that energy is everything is energy. I feel excited when I share about this. So we'll also watch our time, because it might be time for us to also have the commercial break, and we need to have a commercial break. But really, what it is, I'd like us to be very serious about understanding this. So energy is everywhere, right? It doesn't change. The only difference is the difference in degree, vibration, in frequency, right? When you go up higher, you go up higher to another level. That is why I mentioned the six higher mental faculties. It goes above and beyond the five senses. It is the mental faculty that is higher than that. So we call that higher mental faculty. And when we operate at that level, there's different results. You see those people, they just say, I have this staff before in the past, and I told her, we're gonna do surgery. It's gonna be just easy. We are gonna talk to the patient, and we'll go right into the. Oh, I just need a bed. Go prepare a bed. Or I just need a stretcher, because we didn't have a bed at that time, so we need a stretcher. And she said yes. And so then I walked with the patient, with the anesthesia provider, went into the room. When we opened the room, there was a stretcher, and I looked around. It's a bare stretcher. And I looked around, where's Michelle? I looked, Michelle, what's going on? And I said, this is a stretcher. Yeah, well, where's the bed sheet? Where's the draw sheet? The pillow? And all of that. And then she says, Well, you did not tell me. And it got me reflecting about how important it is to be detail oriented depending on who are you talking. In that case, Michelle, my nurse, was a 1 year nurse experience, came out from her training for 1 year, and she's she can do the job, but she doesn't have the critical thinking, not using imagination, memory, perception, will, reasoning, intuition. She is in the senses because she heard me tell get a stretcher, then she got the stretcher. There was no critical thinking. We're going to do surgery, right? We need to do more than that. Just because I said stretcher, that doesn't mean just do brain stretcher. So there's the difference between the five senses and the higher mental faculties. And all of that is in energy. All of that, different vibrations, right? So when you choose one thought, an energy that's vibrating all around, all over you right now, there are so many things passing through. And you can think about it. What do I cook tonight? Do I have money in the bank? Where is my wallet? Where is my phone? Who's sending it? Those thoughts right there. What you entertain, you pick it up, you choose your thought. It gets into your intellectual mind, and that's what you're thinking, right? When I'm talking here, what you're doing is you're listening to me and trying to understand, and then some thought come in, and there's a knock on the door, or the door, somebody's on the phone, or I send a text, I look at my Facebook, or send my email. There's a lot of thoughts going on right now, and then you come back to me and says, "Oh, you're listening." So it goes up and down, up and down. It's a frequency. I'm not going to expect you to just listen to me perfectly because it's not the way it works. It's a frequency, up and down, up and down. It's a vibration, so that you catch those thoughts, and you catch those thoughts. For example, you're going to have, let's say, hamburger for dinner. And so there's hamburger for dinner. You're thinking about that. When you think about that, it goes into your conscious mind, right? There's hamburger for dinner. What happens is, well, I really like. Then you feel some stimuli that you feel like you want to eat, and here it is. And after some time, you went to the kitchen, you prepare the hamburger, or you bought it, and here is it, the hamburger, right? Because it goes into the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind will make sure it gets to you. That's how things come to us. When things come to us, it is because we think about it constantly and put feelings into it, and it comes. It doesn't come at a time that we usually are expecting, but it comes. It doesn't fail to come. That's the work of the. That's how it works. Okay, it goes. It's from within. It goes out. It expresses it. Your body will cause that vibration to have actions, and the actions will have results. Either you go to your refrigerator and make a burger, or you go to the store, or somebody brings a burger. Anything, but the burger will come because you're thinking about it. Okay, and if you're thinking about it with feelings, remember, it's the feeling. So we'll talk about that some more. It's I have this next slide I'm going to share. This is what it is. When you were a kid, you and I, we were being a small little child, right? We are today, we think a lot, and then our subconscious mind, it expresses it and goes down to the body and provides the result. And then as an infant, we're open. Okay, so it's open. We whatever we hear, other people talking, or the TV, or whatever, just go. There is no block in the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is not mature enough to block it, to accept or not accept. It goes in. So that's the paradigm formation. So you're right now as adult, what you have in your paradigm is a result of what were you in your kid when you were a child, from 0 to 7 years old. That's normally what it is. There's a blank slate, things are put into there, and then you grow up. That's why we have this term, I learned in kindergarten what I learned in life. So it is very important to understand that. And then we're going to talk about that today. What are you today? And what were you when you were an infant until you were about 7 years old? What kind of paradigm? And how are we going to change that paradigm to change the result? We'll be right back after the break. This is Beyond Health and Wellness, empowering conversation with Doctorate and Nurse MJ. We are live at Lawan Media Network. Subscribe with us for updates. We are also live with our uh, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcast. We are live in YouTube and Twitch. We'll be right back.
Tune into Legal Treats with attorney Eileen Ligote Dizon
every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Get your weekly dose of legal knowledge, especially on family matters like divorce, child custody, child support, estate planning, probate and immigration.
Engage in discussions by posting your questions, comments, readings, or shoutouts.
See you every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. That would be Saturday at 9 a.m. Philippines. Don't miss out.
All right, we're back. So let's continue to talk about this. So we have the paradigm, and the paradigm that we have right now, your paradigm is a conglomeration of what you were taught about what you feel, how you decide for things, how you see things, and what you feel about them. That is your paradigm, and it's difficult to change that paradigm unless you are determined to change it, because the paradigm is right built into you, that why what information, training, upbringing you were brought up as that's what it was. So paradigm. Now we are going to change that paradigm because we want to get the results. If your paradigm is not giving the results, meaning that the way the contents inside your subconscious mind will keep giving you that result, no matter what happens in your thought. You think about this, you think about this, that's fine. You can think about that, but your paradigm in your subconscious mind, it contains the DNA, the mark or the code that will give you the results. And if you're not satisfied with the results, you don't change the result. You change the paradigm, which is in the subconscious mind, right? So you change your habits, you change your practices, you change the way you do things. That is why when we are successful because we do things in a certain way. You want to discover what are those certain ways to do things in a certain way, because that is what will give you the results. So consistency, right? When you talk about sugar, we talk about removing sugar. You want to be consistent, because if you remove sugar today but not tomorrow, then you're stuck, right? If you think about $1 million today, but tomorrow you think about, well, I'm poor, then you're stuck, because what is in your paradigm is the one that will give you the result. No matter what you say, no matter what you think, no matter what, because unless that thought is flavored, immersed with feelings, then that's going to change that paradigm, and then that's going to be what will result. But it doesn't give it for free. Your subconscious mind doesn't change you and your result for free. It comes with a price. That's why the price is high. It comes with the willingness and the determination to do it, to make it through. And what is there is the ability to faculties. Again, what are our? They are perception. Number one, see. You have to change your way of perceiving things. Other one is your will. How strong is your will? Are you determined enough? What is your determination? What are you determined to do? And imagination. Do you have a clear cut imagination? Remember, we're talking about photography before, in the era where our photographs are, we have a camera and we have to process the picture in the dark room with a film in it. And sometimes when we use the camera with the same film, when it processes it, it has a superimposed different picture and it's not clear. The mind is like that. If you are not clear, the results are not clear either. But it's not the the mistake of the picture. You don't criticize the science of photography because your picture is not clear. You just go ahead and do another one, clear this time, so that the result will be clear. That's why you go back to the subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is giving you the result. And if it's not clear result, then you change it. You change the paradigm by what? Imagination, right? Change the way you imagine things. And then after that, you also have the memory. We recall things. You remember when I just took the plane and I couldn't remember what seat I was. And if I don't have gas with me, I will forget. And I will have to ask, and I will forget, right? But no matter, you can try it if you're on a plane. Get your boarding pass and say, I'm in 26A, and then throw it away or hide it. You will, at the moment you get to the plane, you don't know where you're sitting. You have to look, where am I? Because your memory is not trained to do that. It forgets. It takes time to train memory. So there is that ability to focus. I always tell my student, you train your ability to focus. And they ask, so how do we train our ability to focus? And so I give them a little example. And one of the examples is get a piece of paper. Now you can also get a piece of paper. Get a piece of paper, write a big black dot in the center. Big black dot in the center, like with a pen or a pencil. Make a big dot on a piece of paper and then post it in front of you. And then look at the dot and think only of the dot at the time. See if you can think about the dot and looking for it for like 5 seconds. If you do that and you are able to focus within for 5 seconds, you are good. But I'm thinking you are not. You are not able to do that. Your mind will have a lot of things going on except the dot, and then you move into the dot. So it trains. So I said, so how do you focus? How do you train your focus? Get into that dot immediately when you're reading and your mind wanders, go back to the dot, 5 seconds. And then if it's not 5 seconds, only 2 seconds, your mind wanders again, bring it back. Because the ability to focus is the ability to make sure that you know how you train your memory, and that's a higher faculty. And the other one is reason. Make sure you have reason. In the medical practice, in the nursing practice, we have what we call as reasoning, rationale. What is the reason why we're doing this? Because it sticks. If there is a reason, it sticks because there is a reason, right? Why? What is your reason for having a job? Why? What is the reason for having a podcast? What is your reason for attending a podcast or listening to a podcast? Because you want to learn. There is a reason. If there is no reason, you just go wander around. The other one is intuition. It's very important. I repeat, this one is very important. Intuition is probably the most important higher faculty meant we could use and harness so that our paradigm will change. It's simply listening to the inner voice inside. When it tells you go to that restaurant, sometimes it sounds and even feels crazy because well, I'm going to do this. I don't know if I was being told, but you go ahead and do that, and you are training your intuition yourself to follow your intuition, right? When you say, I wake up, you just go ahead and wake up. We don't even know. Don't question it. Your intuition is usually correct, 99.99%. But why are we wrong a lot of times? Because we miss practicing listening and following intuition. Okay, women are better than men in terms of using their intuition because women tend to just follow it, and men questions it and uh, trumps it down by reason. So it's not working for men as far as the research is concerned. But really follow your intuition. When it tells you go downstairs, and you don't know what to go downstairs for. And I did that before. Go out, and I went out, and there was nothing there. It was not loaded. And then all of a sudden there was a car, and it was my friend who came in, and he needed something. Has a problem. So there was the reason for that. In everything, there is a reason. You just need to make sure you heard it and follow it. Takes courage to be able to do that. Okay, so that's the things, or that's the those are the information that we need in order to change our paradigm. Paradigm is a set of habits that has been there ingrained in us, like avoiding sugar. You can never avoid sugar because there's sugar everywhere. It takes the ability to switch that paradigm in order to not eat sugar anymore, or switch to vegetarian, or whatever it is. So it doesn't happen because the paradigm is very strong. It could kill you. It could kill you because it will be very uncomfortable to change things out in your life. Change is very anti-self. If you change yourself, you'll be in trouble by yourself. That's why people have what you call it, psychotic tendencies, because of the self, right? It's very difficult. The paradigm is very strong. You want that you have enough information to change the paradigm and the things that you want to set in your life. Here are some of these text messages that we will uh, recognize. Oh, this is MJ is here. Great information, Dr. Rich. Thank you for sharing. My mind is most conscious of what other people say. I really want to change that because it greatly affects my mental health and self-esteem. Ah, I know. Why is it that women are always right? Why is it that women are? Do you know where? Do you know the location of restrooms, women and men? You look in the airport, everywhere. You look. Where is the location of women? When you face the restroom, there's men. Now we have different kinds, but there's still men and women. But where do you put the women? Women is usually in the right direction. You go in the right direction, you're going to the women's restroom. In the left direction, you're going to the men's direction, right? You notice that? Go to restaurants, go to airports, go somewhere and observe that where's the women and men restroom. The women restroom goes to the right. Yeah, why are women always right? Women are almost always right because they tend to become better followers of their intuition. You are awesome, Dr. Is. Thank you for sharing your expertise in the show. These are very valuable insights and information that truly make an impact to our viewers. Oh, thank you very much. MJ, we miss you here. Get well soon. Great information, Dr. Is. Thank you for sharing. All right, so we're good with that. So now we've seen how the paradigm needs. If you want me to work with you, I'll work with you in changing the paradigm. But we want to understand what this paradigm is. What are our paradigms? What made the paradigms our paradigms, and what results that does it give us? And if we're not satisfied of the result, or we want more of the results we want, how do we get it by using these mental faculties? So we can talk about that as well. The next slide is also interesting that I would like to share, because we know that we talk about right. Every thought is just energy vibrating in different, and then your thought becomes an idea, and then once you have the idea, you have the idea will cause that emotion, and you pursue it. Like for example, MJ is probably online, and we talk about having this podcast, and we really talk about it, and we talk and we talk, and until we get that action, and we get it going, and we communicate about what it is that we are going to do, the idea, and then we feel about it, and the idea causes that emotion, and it work, and it results in here we are having this. So every single one of the things that we have enjoy or see in reality, we have that one first done in the mind. So there is the create things are created twice. First in the mind and then in the physical, right? It's the architect. So when you have the architectural drawing, the architect just sits on the table, draws about what kind of building is going to be built. He's not going to be the one that will build the building. It's just drawing it, right? Putting it in the picture, and as soon as the picture is clear, the materials are gathered, the engineers are gathered, the workers are gathered, every single one of the machine, you get the building. So that's what happens in our minds as well. And then we are going to talk about how this one, all of this condition the sequence as a result of the activities of the mind. Subconscious mind will help us. But we will take a break first. We are going to have our, is this our last break? It is going to be our last break. And we are going to
Attention, food lovers. Get ready for a brand new culinary adventure with the Commissary Kitchen.
Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time, or 9 a.m. in the Philippines, for a live show that brings the best of the kitchen straight to your screen.
Presented by Lon Live Stream and Podcast and produced by Lon Media Network, we'll explore delicious recipes, share expert cooking tips, and bring you closer to the world of gourmet cuisine. The Commissary Kitchen, where every meal is an experience.
We are back. Again, this is Beyond Health and Wellness, Conversations with Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ. We are live at Lawan Media Network, YouTube, and Twitch.net. And we are here as well. Please make sure you send your message to us, text messages or chat messages, and we'll be acknowledging it. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask them, and we'll talk about that. So we'll continue to talk here about this idea of thought as an energy. Everything in life is energy. Everything, every single one of the things that you see or hold is energy. They are energy vibrations and frequencies. The faster the frequency is, the harder it gets, right? For example, you have a piece of wood, it's an energy continuously vibrating, right? But it's vibrating so much that it becomes a wood. Now, if you change that vibration, you just, let's say you add something to it, and in this case, a heat. When you heat it, it burns, then it changes into different matter, then there's a different vibration, it's the vibration of the ashes. It's going to be all like now. Like, for example, if you change the formation of water, you boil it, you change heat to it, we call that delta. We change it, and then it becomes vapor, and we change it some more, and then it becomes something like that. It goes to gas, and then it changes it becomes water. It just goes on and on. For example, in our thoughts, it's the same thing. Your idea causes the emotion, and your emotion alters that vibration. And when that vibration is altered into the expressed need or intention, the vibration is expressed through that action. So you don't say, well, I'm just gonna sit here, because you can't sit there, because the vibration will move you into doing something because of your thought. Now, you have to make sure that you are aware of what your thought process is, because that's the one that will give you the results. So that will have the conditions that you have, the circumstances, and the environment. Those are the results. And then we're talking about now your action causes the react on it. There is a equivalent reaction. It will the results. For example, if you are looking for something very passionately, let's say you want to earn a degree, a nursing degree, for example, the nursing degree is also looking for you. That's why we call it the law of attraction. What you are looking for is looking for you. When you change the way you see things, the things you see change it, because it's energy. You put energy into it, and it melts, it vibrates into different things, and it gives you different kinds of results based on how that one is reacting to it. Because your mind, it's a law, right? It's a law of reaction and reaction, or the law of attraction. It attracts it, and when it attracts it, it gets into that. That's the creation. We don't create from the outside, we create from the inside. The outside is the material, physical expression of what has been created from the inside. Okay, here's a text. I hope you can also discuss next time what is the difference of a psychopath versus normal person, where that their brain waves are different. We will talk about that. We will talk about that. And then for most interesting part of the body, I mean, during operations, it couldn't feel anything. Mm-hmm. I attract billions. Yes. So yes, what you think you will attract. And if you think it constantly enough, the more it gets to you, the faster it gets to you. Now, here's the thing about what do you call this thing? Affirmations and vision boards and visualizations and manifestations, because it's easy to talk about them. But once you talk about them and then after that you forgot and then you talk about other things. So there are different kinds of things that they get, and now there's still no result. Years and years, you still didn't have what you want, because it's the ability of one person to just focus on one. Remember, we talk about focusing on one. You can't do two things at a time or three things at a time. Multitasking is a myth. You want to understand that you can only focus on one thing at a time. But the faster you can focus on one thing at a time, that's making it more like you're very fast or multitask, because it's very fast. It's really just one thing at a time. Your brain can only process one thing at a time. So that's what it is. And may if you want to attract billions, yeah, think about that every day, man. And there is also what we call as the gestational period. Remember, the gestational period is the same kind of concept or understanding between the law of the farm. The law of the farm has its gestational period, right? You have to plant the seed, and the seed has to die in order for the acorn to die, in order for the oak tree to become a seedling and become a tree. But the idea, remember in this slide, the idea or the picture is in the acorn. When the acorn opens, the idea of a tree comes out, but it's always been there. It's not like it wasn't there. It's just like flying a plane. The first time that the airplane was successful, the airplane was a, what do you call this? Next to the understanding from the heated or hot air balloon, and then it messes it up, but it continues, and then we have the Wright brothers flying the first airplane. But just because the Wright brothers had the first airplane doesn't mean the people before them didn't have the materials for the airplane. They already have it. They just didn't think about it yet. So now it took the Wright brothers to think about airplane, and now we have different kinds of planes because we're thinking about it. So we have the creative imagination and the synthetic imagination. That is a higher faculty. You want to be able to think through it, really plant it there, and consistently, so that it bears fruit. And when it bears fruit, that's the law of the farm. And we're talking about gestational period. Like a baby is born for 9 months, conceived for 9 months. It's not less than that. It's not more. There will be issues if it's less or more, right? And then the carrots. How many days of carrots? You plant a carrot and then you harvest. You don't plant a carrot and then the following day you harvest or pick it up and see why it's not growing. You want to really observe the gestational period. Now, let's say you want to attract billions of dollars, right? Good job. When you want to attract that, there is a gestational period of everything we want. And what is the gestational period of $1 billion to you? Now, what is that? You want to identify that. And if you, let's say, $1 billion for me will be manifested in, let's say, 10 years. And when you reach 10 years and you didn't have $1 billion, doesn't mean there is no $1 billion for you. It's just the date, it's the time frame. We usually make mistakes of the time frame. So you just keep moving it, and extending it, because rather than cutting it out, because well, there is no $1 billion, because there is $1 billion for you. There's everything for us. Whatever it is that we could conceive, we can have it. If you can think it in your mind, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. That's what it is. So if you can see and feel $1 billion, then you can hold it in your hands. That's a guarantee. But how long will the gestational period is something that you want to be able to understand, that everything that you want has a gestational period, or the period when it's conserved and being materialized. Okay? Become a nurse. You didn't become a nurse the day one when you were seventh. You have to go through high school and then decide what you want, and there are circumstances. You now you get into nursing school years after you took a board. There's that, right? That's the gestational period of a nurse profession. So everything has a gestational period. When you want to eat rice, you're eating rice, but that rice has its gestational period. You're not able to eat that rice when it's not rice enough to be cooked and eaten. It wasn't harvested before it, because if it was harvested, then it didn't become rice, because it didn't grow enough. It's not mature enough. The apple that we eat has a gestational period. Every single thing that we have here, enjoy, feel, rest, have their gestational period. That's what it is in understanding how the idea can cause the results to come. May says, if I cannot have $1 billion, I will marry a billionaire. Right. Marrying a billionaire has a gestational period as well. Everything, remember, everything has a gestational period, and there is no shortcut. This is the shortest cut. The shortest cut is you have to plant the seed, nurture that seed until it grows into a seedling before it becomes a tree. That's what we call as the law of the farm. There is no shortcut in the law of the farm. And sometimes we manipulate that, right? We have a 45-day chicken, right? And what does it cost us when we have 45 days chicken? After 45 days, and sometimes they say 30 days, they're already good to harvest, because we shorten that amount of time. We cannot violate the law of the farm without certain consequences. There's always a consequence for things that we violate, because we cannot violate a law. A law is always a law, whether we like it or not, whether we observe it or not, or whether we recognize functions. Is the fundamental law, is the law of life. And so let's say we have a chicken, 45 days, it's already chicken. What is it? We give antibiotics, we give all kinds of things, and then we eat it, and then we also see the consequences of that. You can't say, oh, I'll just eat sugar now because well, I'm doing this and it's okay with me. Then the results will come. There's always going to be the result, because of things that we think about them and the feelings we put in them, right? And remember that the feelings is also very important, because when you say you feel, you can feel, but what kind of feeling you have? Is it positive or negative? Is it for or against? Because sometimes the feelings that you put into it is negative, then the result will be negative. For example, you thought of something that you don't like, but you really think about it. You think about something that you don't like until you feel about it, until you feel about that thing that you don't want. What will happen? What will happen is the thing that you don't want will come to pass, because you focus on it. You put energy in it. It gets a free mind. And when it stays in your mind, it will not take very long for it to be manifested. So to guard our subconscious mind through our conscious mind with the way we think and the way we change. So these are what I'm trying to share here is the same thing. Energy, which is the thought processes that we have, and then we have the ability to get the results what we want to do. But we're running out of time. We'll talk about this next time. Our next time, hopefully, we will have we have MJ with us, but we will have some guests that will also share about this important concept to understand about our lives. And hopefully, you learn today. This has been your Beyond Wellness with conversations with Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ. Thank you very much for being with us. Have a good day, everyone.